Hola, Mommy. Welcome to Built to Rise comeback season for Christian women. I am your host, Lisette Carter, and this podcast is for women who are ready to rise stronger, stand firm in their faith, and walk in their calling. Let's go. Welcome to Built to Rise. This is Lisette Carter. It is a very, very peaceful, very zen Monday night. It is the first time that it has rained here in a while, and it is wonderful. Let me tell you something about rain. It'll mellow you out so fast. In Puerto Rican culture, when it rains, that means it's nap time, okay? But unfortunately, we're in America. And fortunately and unfortunately, we're in America. And it's a grind here. It's a grind. So, that has nothing to do with what we're going to be talking about today. Actually, yes, it does. Grind. Let's talk about grind a little bit. When you are at rock bottom, or maybe you're struggling with something, there's just something that you can't quite wrap your head around. You're starting from the bottom. You have to start from scratch. You've got to start over. What do you do now? And we'll cover this throughout time, but obviously you have to go through the emotion of it all. Okay, that we'll cover another time. You have to go through the emotion. Then when you're kind of done with the emotion, or that has kind of subsided, you have to start some new habits and new disciplines. And so I'd like to say that it's easier to do it when you're starting from scratch than it is when you're trying to replace bad habits, because when you get rid of a bad habit, you have to replace it almost immediately. Otherwise, you're just going to go back to the bad habit. It's kind of like what it says in the Bible. You have an old wineskin. You need a new wineskin for the wine. You can't use the old wineskin because it'll burst. It's kind of the same way, the same example of a room. If you empty a room of all of the bad furniture and you put it down in the trash can and you realize, I don't have a chair. I need to go get a chair. And you go and get the chair. And then you're like, you know what? I need a table. And you go and get the table. And that's how all of those bad habits keep coming in, because you didn't get new furniture to sit on. You just went back to the old stuff. It was comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that I have been trained on and I have learned throughout time is that discipline will take you places that you never thought you could go. And here's the issue today with Christians. Christians are constantly seeking prophecy when what they need is discipline. Okay? And so you could have a prophecy. Somebody could give you a prophecy for something, for where they see you in 5 years. But are you developing the habits to get you there? It's not just going to magically happen. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it gives you the direction. It gives you the headlights like 10 feet ahead of you. But you've got to learn how to develop discipline and good habits, even when your flesh tells you it doesn't want to do it. And let me tell you, it took me quite a bit of understanding to wrap my head around this as a woman. Now, discipline is discipline, like, period. But I believe that the different seasons that women have when it comes to motherhood, they have newborns, they're premenopausal, they're different there's so many different etapas, like so many different seasons that they experience, that it almost seems like when you develop a good habits and good discipline, you've got your schedule down, it's almost like something switches up and then you have to kind of be fluid. You have to okay, well, that's not going to work then. Now I got to do it at night. My God time isn't going to work in the morning anymore because my kid wakes up at 4 a.m. Well, now let's switch it to, when he goes to bed at 8 p.m. And so, it's constantly like an ebb and flow. And where we lose it is when we try and keep it consistent all like for all of the seasons of our lives. That's where the frustration comes in. You have to have a fluid mindset where things are going to happen, meetings are going to pop up, emergencies are going to happen, different seasons, kids are learning to potty train, or your husband got a new job. There are going to be different things that you're going to have to deal with, and you've got to learn how to just move around the pieces. The habits are the same, you're just doing them at a different time, okay? And the moment that you can be okay with that and be like, okay, I'm not going to beat myself up if I can't get this done by a specific time. And I honestly believe that's a woman thing, because I think that men's lives are pretty like the same all the time. I can't speak for a man. I don't know, but it seems like their mission is very one track minded. And if we're the helpmeet, that means we have to be very fluid in all of the other changes so that he could be focused on his mission. Now, I'm saying this as a single woman. I was married before, so I understand what submission looks like. I understand what supporting a helpmeet. I also understand the other side of that, which is being in singlehood again, learning how to be on your own again. So I get both sides. So on both sides of the coin, there are still ebb and flows to our daily habits. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tips that may help you, because you're like, you know what, Lisette, I don't know how to find a good routine that I can stick with, whether it's at night or in the day. It's kind of frustrating. My schedule's all over the place. No worries, man. Listen, the whole point of this is to learn how not to beat yourself up about the things that you cannot control. I thrive on structure. I love a good routine. It brings me a sense of peace. It brings me order. I love a clean place. I hate clutter. I just want things to be open and clean, spacious. Just give me room to think. Make it as clean as it can be. Now, I'm not like OCD, but at the same, when you have kids, it's really hard to be that way unless you have cleaners. However, it's, you've got to have a balance. I hate that word with a passion, balance, but you've got to be flexible in that, it might not be 100%, but if it's to your standard and it's a place of peace where you can welcome creative thinking, welcome the Holy Spirit, welcome visitors, you're good to go, man. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how this has been such a game changer in my life, particularly in this season that I'm in. I'm newly divorced, and by newly I mean like I've been divorced 2 years, maybe 2 years in December, and I had quite a journey. It came out of left field. I had no idea it was coming. I thought I was going to be with this person forever. I thought we were just going through a bad season in our marriage. It turns out he was checked out, and one thing led to another. And so I didn't sign up to be a single mom in a new city, just trying to figure out my life. But one of the things that I decided to do when that happened was I told myself, I've been given a fresh start. What am I doing? And the first thing I knew that I needed to do was to follow the direction of God, despite what I wanted to do. If it were up to me, I would still be in Puerto Rico. I went from Massachusetts. I was in Puerto Rico for a year, trying to figure out what to do I was with my family, thank God. And then I moved to Pittsburgh in the direction, like God's via God's direction. That was clear as day. I would be in Puerto Rico right now. We'd go to the beach every day because Puerto Rico is an ideal place to raise a family, mainly because it's a conservative place, especially out in the West Coast. And my family's there. And I would love my daughter. You know, she had the experience to live there for a year. I would have loved for her to just grow up there. However, I knew in my spirit that is not where God wanted me to be. It's where He wanted me to rest and recover. And for Isabella to experience, I wanted her to experience the culture there at some point and to grow up in it and to understand the language and to learn it. However, I knew that was not my portion. I knew that's where I was just at the time. And I sought God. And I remember being at the bottom and being like, I can't have any, I need to have direction, Lord. Give me a clear direction. What I thought for my life is not what it was. It's what I thought was going to become of my life. I thought I was going to be at some point, maybe some kind of investigative journalist or, you know, some kind of an anchor or reporter, in the conservative space, and just kind of build from there. And, it just didn't work out that way. It didn't pan out that way. So, you know, I had to start from the bottom. Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And it started with, where do you want me to go? And I heard clear as day. I was fasting and praying, which is crucial to your daily walk. Make sure that when you're fasting, you're also praying and you're leaning into God. And I had to ask God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? And I heard the Lord in my spirit say, go to Pittsburgh. And I was like, right. I'm not going to Pittsburgh. I don't know anyone there. I know like one person there. I don't know anyone there. I don't know the area. I know nothing about Pittsburgh other than one particular place where it was kind of ghetto. I'm like, I really don't want to live there. I've seen it. It's kind of ghetto. And, so I asked him again the next day, which is kind of a disobedient thing to do. Like when he tells you to do something, just go do it. But I asked him again, looking for that dike confirmation. And the Lord was like, I've been waiting for you to ask me. Go to Pittsburgh. And I was like, all right. And so I went there to visit for New Year's. That was around the time, it was probably like early December where I got that word. And I was like, you know, they have a New Year's party for this ministry that I love. It's called Revival Today. I've followed them since like 2014. I just would like, all right, let's go visit and see what happens. And Lord, if you want me to go there, you need to line up a school for Isabella. I can't homeschool her anymore. You're going to have to line up a job for me. You're going to have to line up an apartment. Like, I don't know anything about Pittsburgh. And let me tell you, the second day that I came here, somebody gave me full tuition for her for private school, which is not cheap. Everything was a cakewalk. The apartment that I got, the only one I qualified for, happened to be in one of the best towns in Pittsburgh. It's very rural, lots of hills, deer, turkey. It's very peaceful, wonderful. And everything was easy. Even my apartment's on the second floor. Even the small little things God took care of, where I was like, wait, I don't have a man to help me bring up furniture. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I remember thinking that, like, holy crap, I'm going to need like delivery services. Like, I can't just get furniture from wherever. And I remember purchasing furniture and being afraid that I'd have to go down and get it and figure out a way to haul it up. And every single time somebody would bring it up for me. And even in the little things, that's how I knew it was God. It was like green lights and peace all the way. Even the small little detail of like being at peace with my daughter's father, where, you know, we had a conversation and we became very at peace with the situation. And so, just little things like that. And I knew that this is where I was supposed to be. I had divine friendships here. I had divine work. I ended up starting a business. I have a publishing company. So it was just like, You knew that that's where God wanted me to go. And then there are things that happen where you're like, okay, Lord, I see you and I trust you. And the difference between having having faith and trust is literally staking everything on God and just being like, Lord, you are it for me. That is it. I know nothing else. And so when you start there, developing the habits to hone in on listening to God. So the spiritual habits would be fasting and praying. I've developed a habit to fast and pray every single Monday over my business, over my home, over my friends, everything for the majority of the day. And I do it every single Monday. That is a habit that I have that I really stick to. Most days I'm like fasting all day anyway because my body I feel like just wants juice all day long, like smoothies and then some steak later on. That is a health habit I got into where now that I'm much older, I'm in my early 40s now. So now I'm kind of like, all right, my body just went out of whack with pre-menopausal or whatever. And so I had to really figure out what does my body need. And I tried all kinds of things. I tried the carnivore, I tried all kinds of diets just to see what worked well with my body now that it was going out of whack a little bit. And what suits me best is juice smoothies like most of the day and then some steak and a carb at night with my daughter. My body really likes that. And so my body also really likes working out. You're going to have when you as you grow older, you're going to have two pains. You have to figure out which pain do you want. Do you want the pain of getting out of bed sore because you've done nothing and your body's just getting fatter and and your joints aren't being used properly and you're not strengthening them, or do you want to be sore because you worked out? And so it's like one or the other as you get older. And so you have to develop a routine. And, my routine is different from when I was in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I was a hardcore athlete. I was a collegiate athlete. I was in the gym every day. I was eating right every day. And that has changed. I was doing half marathons. Like that has significantly changed throughout the years where hit or high impact is not the deal. So I had to figure out, and I didn't do this all at one time. It was a gradual change. Okay, my body likes this, my body likes that. Get in line, body, with what I'm telling you to do. Like sometimes it was like that. My body prefers free weights and bands right now. It recovers better over barbells. I'm constantly adding weight and getting hurt, and there's a cycle of that. And so I had to figure out, okay, 3 days a week I'm good lifting, and then the other days I'm good walking. And I fit that into my routine every single day. And so you hear this all the time on the internet. Yeah, develop good habits, develop good routines. But let me tell you one thing that absolutely changed it for me. What I did was I heard this from a mentor of mine. She takes her calendar, and I was doing this from the beginning of the year where I would sit with a friend of mine, even though she was in Massachusetts, we'd get on the phone and we'd go over what we needed to do for the week. What are our goals for the week? What needs to be done? And in addition to that, I learned, okay, and I think I talked about this in the last one. What am I doing that I can sustain? What can I cut out and what can I add that's productive? And so one of the things that my mentor had suggested was, she said, all right, figure out your schedule for the week and then figure out your non-negotiables. So your non-negotiables are like, okay, I work out every day, I pray every day, I work every day, and then figure out what time slots are best to do those things for this season in your life. So for me personally, it's wake up in the morning, pray, spend time with God, I read 5 pages in the morning, 5 pages at night of the Bible. So read 5 pages in the morning, walk or work out. And then what I do is is I have within these slots alarms. So I transferred all of these slots into my Google Calendar and I set alarms on them. So then after I work out, I take a shower and then I sit down and I have class. I'm doing pilot training. So I have class for an hour. The alarm goes off. I take a break for 30 minutes. I grab some food or a shake or whatever, and then I go. Okay, then I have miscellaneous stuff, that phone calls that need to be made from 10:30 to 11. And so in that half an hour, I go and I call the people I need to call, keep it short, make all the phone calls I need to make for the day, and then I go ahead from 11 to 2, I'm working, and then 2 to 3 I'm writing, and every single time there's an alarm going off. And then I drop everything and I move on to the next task. And let me tell you, that has been such a game changer. And in addition to that, not only is knowing what you have going on in your schedule and what you're doing every day super helpful, but having a vision, like if you have a vision board already or some goals that you're getting after, or maybe somebody prophesied over something over you that you know to be true in your spirit, you have to figure out habits that are going to line up with those goals that are going to get you there. You cannot just take a prophecy or something that somebody said to you and just accept it and leave it. If you believe in your heart that's what God wants you to do, you need to develop habits to work towards it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, develop the discipline to work at it. You're not going to be motivated all the time. Motivation is external, especially when you're on your time of the month. You don't have any motivation whatsoever. You probably shouldn't be doing anything. You should be sleeping that whole time. But you have to develop the discipline so that you don't need the external motivation. It just gets done whether you feel like it or not. You know what I'm saying? And so these are building blocks to understanding, okay, I have nothing right now, right? Or I need to start from zero. What does my spirit need? My spirit needs time with God. That's number one, because it says in the Bible that you keep God number one. You keep the kingdom first, and all these things shall be added unto you. So yeah, you could work your ass off. You could be volunteering your butt off. You could be doing all kinds of things, but you're going to be spinning your wheels if you don't keep the kingdom of God first. So you need to make sure that you spend time in Him. You write down downloads that He gives you, notes. I can't tell you that the time that I'm taking right now to make sure that I do that in the morning and at night, how valuable it is to me. Like, I almost crave it every day, because sometimes I hear Him and I'm like, wow, God, thank you for that word. It comforted me. Wow, God, thank you for that. And I'm starting to see Him really come through on the things that I had been praying for. And so we talked about how to add to your calendar, what to do, how to add good habits in the spiritual, how to add it in the natural with your body. And it comes emotionally, like to your mind. You know, you have to also develop the habit of not being distracted. And so one of the things that helped me the most during this time is getting off social. I go on every now and then to check stuff because I have a business, but like, getting off social was like another complete game changer of mine. And the reason why I did that was because I have these goals that I have to hit. And when you look at your screen time, my pastor says this all the time, you look at your screen time and where you're spending your time, a lot of it is on social most of the time. That is the time that God gave you to live your life, and you're spending it watching other people live theirs. Do you even remember what you scrolled by yesterday? You probably don't. Like, you probably have no idea what you were like. Do you remember any of those memes or any of those videos? And so I have this motto. I've developed this mindset of, what has social media, how has it served me so far? I have been consistent on social media for maybe like the last 8 to 10 years. And it has served me well in speaking engagements when I had my books, and I'm still working on my 4th book. It served me well with getting the word out there. It served me well with getting the word out there with my first podcast, different events. It served me well building a community. But then after that, it was just kind of like I'm posting about my life because I'm no longer doing those things. And then I realized that social media is for two people. Okay, stay with me. Social media is for two people. The first person, okay, three. Social media is for three people. The first person is business owners, right? The second is like evangelists to like market, to get the word out of like where they're going, what they're doing, their thoughts on current events, like stuff like that. And the third is for poor people. Poor people. That's what I said. Poor people. If you ask somebody who's rich, right? Ask somebody who's super wealthy if they have social media, other than like social media influencers, and how much time they spend on it. You're probably going to get like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not even on it, or I have it, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they already have a platform. And so, it just doesn't, they're just using it maybe as like another source of income, which is generally the case. Is the people who are super wealthy have an expertise in something and people follow them because of that expertise, or they have a business or whatever. They're already super rich. And so I'm not, there are things that in my life that I feel like I can't afford to do. Like, I can't afford to be on social media because I have goals and there are things that I'm believing for and working towards, and social media does not contribute to those things. I can't afford to be sad. I feel like rich people have the ability to be depressed and sad because I have a daughter. I have to provide for her. I don't have the wiggle room. I'm not rich enough to sit in my mansion and cry about stuff. I'm just not there yet. You got to push through. It's just the reality of the situation. Like, I'm not rich enough for that. I don't have enough passive income for me to sit around and mope about anything. Even though I try to, but you get snapped out of that real quick when your kid's like, hey, can you open this for me? You just can't be depressed ever. And so, those are things that I had to cut out so that I could be less distracted and focus and be more productive during the day. I remember just seasons where I was just scrolling. Like, what am I even doing with my life? I'm just here scrolling, not being productive, not learning something. I also have this motto, these habits that I've developed throughout time that are just like seamless to me now. I don't really have to incorporate them into my schedule, where I know I have to read something every day. I know I have to listen to something every day. Like, I have to listen to a faith-filled message every single day. So those are like habits that I've developed over time that I no longer have to incorporate because it's just automatic for me to do that, to reach to YouTube and go to YouTube and find a talk on whatever. And so let me encourage you. You are alive and you have life. And there's purpose for your life. Do not waste it. Do not waste it. When God sees that you are good and faithful with the little, He will give you more. And so if you're good and faithful with your time now, He will give you more time later. Be very jealous of your time and where it goes. Are you like, I remember when I first got to Pittsburgh, I didn't have a ton of friends, so I had to go out and make friends. And some of the friendships that I had started, I kind of went, we'd be like, let's grab coffee, and we would sit there for like 4 hours grabbing coffee, and I'm like, dang, I could have been a little bit more productive with that time, even though I love sitting with them and love learning about them, but maybe shortening that to like an hour, 2 hours. You also have to protect your mind when it comes to that. Like, you have to be mindful who you're sitting down with, why, how long. Like, you can't just give your time to people randomly. You have to be very guarded and very jealous of your time and where it's going. Now, after 3 o'clock, I'm going to pick up my daughter. I'm off my phone. I'm off. I'm not doing work stuff. I am with her from 3 to 8. And I try not to have any distractions other than what we're doing right now. Right now we're in chill mode. But like, I don't want her to see a parent who's always on their phone because of work or whatever. And so when she goes to bed, if I have more work to do, I will get to work and I'll work from 8 to 12. And that's just, sometimes there's a lot of work, sometimes there isn't any work. But like, I have to put the first ministry first, which is my daughter. So yes, I'm rigid about my schedule when she's not around me, but when she's with me, she is the schedule. This is what we're doing. You are the schedule. Let me spend quality time with you. Let's learn something. Let's watch something together. Let's hang out. And it's really difficult to do that when you have a lot on your mind, but you don't have kids for a long time. You only have them for a short amount of time. So for that, schedule can go out the window when your kid is around. Like, but just when it's just you, make sure that you are super productive and that you are following what God has you doing, where he wants you to go, do what he tells you to do. And if you get instead of waiting around for a prophecy, develop good habits. So when you have one, you already know that you can incorporate habits that will lead you closer to those things that God has promised you. So you could be ready for them. Be sharp. You know what I'm saying, mommy? You were built for this. You were built for this. It might seem overwhelming. Take it one day at a time. Add in one habit a week. Doesn't have to be all at the same time. Try one new food a week that's healthier. Try a new exercise. Try Zumba. Does that even exist still? I don't even know anybody that does Zumba. But, try lifting a weight or two and see how your body feels with that. Incorporate good habits that will bring you longevity. Eat better. Go to sleep earlier. Like, just incorporate better habits that won't make your mind feel like mush, like social will. You know what I'm saying? So find out what that is for you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to help you. But your future lies in your discipline, in your daily habits. Okay? Understand that stuff just doesn't happen to you, doesn't come to you. Everything that you want lies in your daily routine. Okay? So get on it. Get a nice little planner, a cute little planner. Get on the alarms on your Google Calendar for the week. Plan out your week every Sunday night. Do it with a friend. I like doing it with a friend. It keeps me accountable. And also it helps you like just take out some stuff that you don't need. Oh, you don't need to do that. Why are you doing that? What's the goal of that? You know what I mean? And then pray over it. Be like, Lord, if there's anything I need to add in here, what do you need me to do? Just show me what I need to do right now. And he will show you. He will help you. So you're built for this, mommy. You were built for this. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.